Welcome back. For this video, we're going to be talking about what clutter is. Now, full disclosure, I am not a neat and tidy person, but you don't have to be to gain results for clutter clearing because you'll hear me say it again and again. But clutter clearing is modern day alchemy. It's not about your stuff, it's about the energy of your stuff, the associations for your stuff. Your home tells a story about you. The stuff that you have in your home tells a story about you. It tells about how you feel about yourself. It can show you inner issues. It can show you ancestral issues that are still awake in your life. There is so much that your clutter can tell you about the way you relate to the world, about how you relate to yourself, about your identity. And as you shift the things in your home, you begin to shift, change, heal, and transform all those things in your life. But not only does your stuff reflect you, it influences you the second you walk over the threshold, the second you walk into your home. It's like every item is radiating an energy field, a force field, if you like, that influences you. When you step across the threshold, you should feel great and strong, stronger than you did before you stepped over. Some people step over that threshold into their home and their energy just depletes. It's usually because of the stuff, your beliefs, your concerns, your spirit, your passion. It's all embedded in your stuff. And your stuff and where you have it in your home can even dictate your destiny. So it's really, really important to understand about clutter. And if you think about it, your dwelling is more than a place to lay your head at night. It's more than a place to seek comfort from the elements. It is literally a place where you interface with the universe. From a spiritual perspective, it is the one most important aspect in terms of your spiritual journey in life. It is a crossing point in time and space that can either attract energy into your life or repel energy. Trust me, you want it to attract good, positive energy. Every object in your environment will either take your energy up, take it down, or it will be neutral. So I'm going to be talking about the idea of energy and clutter and how you can sense the objects that are taking your energy up and the ones that are taking your energy down and the ones that are just kind of neutral. From a spiritual perspective, when you let go of physical stuff, it allows you to let go of emotional stuff that's holding you back. That's a burden that you're dragging around with you. So you can tell I'm passionate about this and you can tell I'm excited about the journey ahead. So here's some things that clutter can be. Clutter can be, now if you don't love it or use it, it's clutter. It's just like that one liner I use. So if I try to want to understand what clutter is, do I love it? Do I use it? If you don't love it or use it, there's a chance it might be clutter. Now there's some things that are kind of neutral and that's okay. But that's a really good way to begin. Do I love it? Do I use it? But clutter can also it can be a buffer in life. Some people are afraid of being seen. Maybe they don't feel so good about themselves. So they can put weight on their body as a way of not being seen, but they can also have a lot of stuff. And it's a buffer from fear. It can be something to fill an emotional hole. There might be a hole if I'm not good enough or I'm not enough, and then you have all this stuff and it kind of fills that hole. But ultimately, that's not as satisfying as true emotional comfort. But it's something to be aware of. Um, it can be an external symbol of being enough. Hey, I won this award. I am good enough. I have this certificate on the wall. It means I am something. I am somebody. So that's another aspect of clutter. Sometimes clutter can be a family pattern. If everyone in your family always lives in cluttered homes, it's just the way it is. So that's something to be aware of. It can be a feeling of safety or security. You have that stuff because it makes you feel safe. One of the biggest reasons why people have clutter is what I call fear of the future. I have enough now, but in the future, I might not have enough. So I've got to hold on to it because now's fine. For years, everything's fine. But the future, I might not have enough. Another way of saying that is I might not be enough. Now, there's a challenge with that. I'll be talking more about that in other videos. But the challenge is if you believe that you're not going to have enough in the future, that can become a self fulfilling affirmation, a self fulfilling prophecy. I might not have enough in the future. I might not have enough in the future. Subconsciously, if you believe that so strongly, you might not have enough in the future. But if you can let go of that fear, I haven't used it in 12 years or 15 years or 20 years. And, you can, no, I might need it in the future, but you know what? I probably won't. I'm going to let it go. Who I am is enough. When you drop that fear, you actually activate a lot more positive energy into your life. It can also be a way to hold on to old relationships, old experiences, old situations, all through the house. I worked with a woman who every time I'd say, "Well, tell me about that object." And she goes, "Oh, my ex-husband gave me this," or "This is where my ex-husband and I went to the beach." And all these objects were she was talking about her ex-husband. And she came to me because she wanted relationships. She wanted love. But she was so holding on to the old love. It was hard for new love to come into her home and into her life. With that particular woman, and there were a number of similar cases, when she got rid of all that stuff, she goes, "It's amazing, Denise. I feel so different." And men are finally starting to notice me because she got rid of the attachment to that old relationship, those old situations. And one of the things you'll learn about in our clutter is what is clutter to one person might not be clutter to somebody else. Um, I went into a home where the woman said, "Oh, I knew you were coming over, so I clutter cleared before you got here." And I stepped into her home and I could hardly breathe. There was stuff everywhere, piled up every shelf, every cupboard, every coffee table. It was just stuff. And she goes, "See, I feel so different." And I'm like, "Okay, all right." And then I went into another house shortly after that. And the woman said, "Oh, I'm so sorry. It's such a mess." And it was like a Zen monastery. And I could hardly breathe because it's like everything was so perfect. And there wasn't one of those wasn't right, one of those wasn't wrong. It's just clutter is different for different people. And the first person, she felt like she'd clutter cleared and she felt great. The second person felt like it was just a big mess. And so she was embarrassed by it. And it is what it is for you personally. So I'm going to give you a lot of information, but just remember there is no universal. If it works for you, it works for you. And so we'll use that as a starting point. So now that we've talked about what clutter actually is, and it's more energy than the actual stuff, we're going to be talking about how you clear it. And that's what the next video is going to be about.